We're on the march.
Keep going.
Yeah, that's how it gets worse. And literally, I set him up. I was sure that prosecutor would stop me so I could come back with charges against her. I didn't expect her to stop me with charges against her, but she did. So from there, I went to the head criminal district judge in Travis County, petitioned him for a court of inquiry to examine into her actions, and presented him with 3 criminal complaints, which he refused to take. Said the district court in Travis County doesn't take criminal charges. I said, well, I'm not approaching you in your capacity as a district judge. I'm approaching you in your capacity as a magistrate in Texas, and that's a duty from which you may not shield yourself. Well, he did. So I filed criminal charges against him, and then came back a second time and filed the same petition for court of inquiry with another district judge. This one found out what I was doing with the first, and he took it. He sent it to the district clerk, who sent it to the county attorney to look into it for him. He couldn't send it to the district attorney because he was accused. I went to the county attorney and filed 3 criminal charges against Claire Brown, and went back to the district attorney's office, demanded the complaints I had given to her against the Court of Criminal Appeals judges. She brought them to me, and I got an opportunity to talk to her. Told her, I'm not after you, Claire. I never was after you. If you will just stand aside, let me hand these to the grand jury, then you go in there and talk them out of indicting. Everybody wins. The judges don't get indicted. I get them presented to the grand jury, and you get to be the hero. She bought that story. They're in the hands of the grand jury as we speak. If this grand jury doesn't indict, I got 12 a year that I'll file with. I'll eventually get them. When I get all the justices of the Court of Criminal Appeals, everything changes. They get indicted, they're removed from office.
But I know about lots of other people's cases where somebody has been arrested for no driver's license, and you give them procedures, just basic stuff, and the court finally doesn't make them plea bargain and just dismisses it. I mean, we see lots of that, too.
Yes, that's because the writ of habeas corpus, it demonstrates all the acts that they commit that are criminal. So I took the writ of habeas corpus apart and broke it into a bunch of motions. I maintain that when the officer arrests you, searches you, cuffs you, stuffs you, cranks the automobile, points it toward the jail, he has committed aggravated kidnapping. There's no false imprisonment statute in Texas. The statute is kidnapping. And when he arrested you, he could have arrested you legally. But when he pointed toward the jail instead of some magistrate's office, he violated the law relating to his office. He became a criminal trespasser.
Because you're supposed to immediately go before the magistrate so that you can then present, your basic Bill of Rights.
Exactly.
Hold on, let's explain that right now.
Okay.
Randy Kelton's our guest. He's had a lot of effect in the courts. I've seen him have some victories, get some people out of things they hadn't done. When lawyers wanted $20,000, he was able with basic procedures to have them just drop the cases. It's one big, giant, corrupt system. And Randy, we were talking during the last break there for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. We were just now getting into the procedures. The police officer in the old days took you before a judge first, and it was always over rustling or horse thieving or rape or something serious, but they still had to bring you before a judge, before the jail, or they could hold you maybe for a day before you went before a judge when the judge came in. If it was on the weekend or at night. And now they'll just take it for weeks, months in jail without even charges. That is kidnapping. That is official oppression. That is grade A tyranny. But all of this has just been standardized. But here's another example. Somebody steals your car, they won't come out and look into it. If you want to go file a report, they won't even let you. If you want to file charges on somebody who's knocked your teeth out, they'll just act like, well, come back later, or I can't do that, or go here. They don't let you know that they have to file that. And then if you turn out to be a liar, you get arrested for filing false charges. And so it's the same thing with grand juries. Grand juries used to be creatures of the people. They were open. They were discussed. Now they become creatures of the prosecutors. Everything has been domesticated. So let's talk about that. I mean, when You know, I've gone down many years ago, 10, 12 years ago, when I had stalkers and people breaking my car and doing stuff, being in my backyard, and I'd go to them and they'd say, look, you don't like us cops. I'm not going to file a thing on him for you. Just get out of my office. And I was just like, whoa. And that was down here in Austin. And that's when I really started waking up. I mean, I'd grown up in Dallas where our sheriff went to jail for being a drug dealer, and I'd seen all kinds of crazy stuff and knew it was all a joke. But I mean, this really is these are hardcore crooks. I mean, you're saying your normal officer isn't like that on the ground. I know they're just out writing tickets and raising revenue and helping people occasionally. But higher up, I mean, it does seem to get more rotten as you get higher up the fish. You know, it rots from the head down. But I mean, Randy, that's a lot I've said. But comments on that?
It goes to the law of crudulence. Crud sinks to the top. You have to be a scoundrel to ever get there. And I'm not saying all police are lily white angels. There are a number of police out there who got into police work for reasons that should have kept them out of police work. But for the most part, they got into police work wanting to be a good guy. They found themselves trapped in this situation, this system that they didn't create. They don't know how to fix it. I've had 4 different officers come to me and ask if I could do something to get rid of an officer they had because he was causing them so much embarrassment because he didn't belong there. But
then he gets promoted.
He's the one that gets promoted.
The bad guy. I mean, I've literally seen them pull people who were quadriplegics out and beat them up because they didn't get out of the car fast enough, and then that guy gets promoted.
Exactly. There is a technique, and mostly it's getting away from the guy at the bottom. If a guy at the bottom gives me a problem, or if I have a complaint to file, I never file it with the police. I go file it with a judge. And if the judge refuses to take it, wonderful. Now I get to go to the district attorney and file criminal charges against the judge. And the district attorney is not even going to take that. Now I get to file criminal charges directly with the grand jury. And there's a number of innovative ways to get that. The grand jury is still as powerful as it always has been. It's just that the officials have gotten better at hiding them from us. They hate grand juries.
Oh, no, they want to abolish them and regular juries.
You bet they want to abolish grand juries. My district attorney in Wise County once told me, those damn grand jury members, they think what they're doing is important. I said, well, Barry, it is. I know that, but I wish they didn't, because he never knows what they're going to do.
Well, I mean, I want to get into your solutions here, and how you do it. We've talked some about that in your website, but go back to Williamson County a few months ago, because you go to file this complaint on somebody's rights they violated, and tell them what they did to you behind closed doors.
Well, when the investigator came out and told me that the district attorney...
Tell them what department this was. Go through it all.
I went to the district attorney. Handed his investigator a criminal complaint. If you go to the district attorney with a complaint, they'll always send you an investigator.
So this is Round Rock, or
this was Georgetown?
Okay, Georgetown City District Attorney. Okay.
No, went to the county courthouse.
Okay, I want to be clear. You went to the county of Williamson County.
The county, the elected
county seat,
the elected district attorney.
Got it. County seat.
Yeah, I wanted the highest one in the.
Got it. I just didn't know what jurisdiction. Okay. Go ahead.
Complaints against public officials always go to a district attorney, even if it's a Class C misdemeanor. By law. So I filed the complaint. I try to file it with a district attorney. When you try to do that, they'll never talk to you. They'll send out their investigator. So I got this trick for them. I make up a criminal complaint. And I asked the investigator, are you a certified police officer? And he said, yes, I am. Good, I need you. Here, take this complaint and verify it. And it's a complaint against his boss. And he'll say, well, I can't verify that. If you're a certified police officer, you're authorized to verify criminal affidavits. Verify that. The first thing he does is goes to his boss, because he's not even signing that document. So that gets rid of him. Well, he went to talk to the boss and came back and said the boss declined my offer to file criminal charges against this other police officer. And I told him I hate to hear that, and took out my cell phone, dialed 911, asked them to send an officer out here to arrest the both of them. Class A misdemeanor, official misconduct, violation 39.03 penal code. I'll swear out the complaint. I'll wait.
And that's the thing. They break the law. Go back and explain that when they drive you to the jail instead of to imagine. I mean, explain that.
Yeah, okay.
It's just all crime.
It was intended by our founders that the people not have a reason to fear their police.
This was born out of the British running around arresting their own people for no reason.
Yeah. This thing of magistrates comes from Magna Carta. 1200s. It was a good-
1215.
That was a good idea. They said,